Hello and welcome to Larissa's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be making yet another rendition of some of my favorite food, bread. But not just any bread, I'm going to be making the brown bread they serve at Outback Steakhouse. Alright, all the usual players are here. I've got 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup of vital wheat gluten, and 2 tablespoons of instant yeast. That would be 2 packets of yeast. I've also got 1½ cups of water and 1/2 cup of dark molasses. Now I like the unsulfured molasses best. This needs to go in the microwave and get warmed up. We're going to turn this into a sponge along with about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. We're also going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of sugar and about an entire tablespoon of salt. Now I know that sounds like a lot of salt, but this is a very dense and hearty bread and you are going to need that for flavoring. Alright, we are also going to need to eventually add in 2 cups of rye flour, and that's another part that's going to give this a nice dark brown color. So let's get started putting this all together. Okay, this has only been mixing for about a minute or two. There's a lot of liquid in here, so it's not going to make a very good sponge. We're going to slowly add the rye flour in as this mixer is on just stir, on very low, so that we don't make rye flour fly all over the place. Once this is all the way dumped in, I'll probably turn this back up to 2. It's going to get very thick at that point in time, but we still need to let it combine before we add any extra flour. Okay, that's been going for about 2 or 3 minutes. You can see this has a nice texture to it. So we're going to go ahead and scrape down the sides, and then we're going to start adding in just the regular all-purpose flour to get this to the right bread consistency. Now we're not going to need to add that much, and when I start off, I think I'm only going to start off with about 3/4 cup to begin with. Okay, this dough is coming off the bottom, but I want to make sure it's not sticky because we have a lot of molasses in here. No, that's very sticky. So I'm going to need to add more flour. We want to make sure that this is not sticky when we do go to turn it out. Okay, let's check this one last time. No, much better. Okay, let's get this turned out on the granite and get it in shape, and then we're going to get it into a greased bowl. Alright, this is going in my oven for about 1 hour and 10 minutes to rise for the first time. Okay, before we get ready to shape these loaves, we need to coat a baking sheet with nonstick cooking spray and then dust it with cornmeal. Okay, you can see that this hasn't risen very much. It's a very dense dough, and in this big lump, it's not going to rise very much. But once we turn it out and form it into the loaves, it should rise a little bit better. Okay, so we need to get this in half, but first I need to knead it down a little bit and redistribute the air bubbles. Okay, we'll cut this in half. Ignore the dog. All right, then we're going to roll these into 2 long, thin loaf shapes. Okay, back in the oven for another hour. Okay, I've got my oven set to 375. It's preheating right now. We're going to bake these for 35 minutes. The tops are going to be very dark, and this is going to be very nice and crusty when it comes out. Okay, you know the drill. A half an hour before we can cut into this. Okay. Bad.